Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kerana anda singgah lagi di Facebook Mediamaju live streaming daripada mediamaju.com. Hari ini kita ada special forum live daripada beberapa orang konsultan. Alright, topik yang akan dibincangkan adalah berkenaan dengan pandemic crisis, challenges and opportunities for businesses. Alright, forum ini akan moderatornya adalah Dr. Arpah Abu Bakar, iaitu Associate Professor daripada Universiti Utara Malaysia, dan panelisnya adalah terdiri daripada Zalina Jaflus, Senior Consultant, juga Tunku Nafishah, Senior Consultant, dan Siti Baizura Yunus, juga senior consultant. Okey, kita jangan berlengah lagi. Mari kita bersama dengan mereka. Ini dia anda sekalian. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okey, persilakan Associate Professor Dr. Arpah Abu Bakar sebagai moderator.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and good afternoon to all our FB listeners. Praise to Allah that we have the opportunity to join this forum today. This is more than 30 days, already more than a month that we are at home. But I guess even though we are disconnected physically, we are now connected in this digital space, which is also good as well. So I'm Arpah Abu Bakar. I'm now attached to Universiti Utara Malaysia under the Institute of Risk Management, and I'm also attached to the Academy of Risk Management in Malaysia. And this is a good opportunity for us to share best practices in risk management and to have our experts here today. So it's my pleasure today to accompany everyone as a moderator. So my warm welcome to all the panelists.
Thank you so much.
I don't want to take too much time, but let me just quickly go through our panelists' background just a bit. Zalina Jaflus has 27 years of experience in risk management and business continuity management. She's also a certified business continuity professional, certified risk manager, and certified lead BCM implementer. And the next person that we have here, Tunku Nafishah. Tunku Nafishah expertise is in marketing and communications, covering public relations and other wide spectrum of communications. And the last person that we have here, Siti Baizura Yunus. She's a certified business continuity professional, has 34 years experience in managing risk and specialized in business continuity management as well. So we have three experts here, all are senior consultants from Jaflus Consultancy, past experience. So I believe all our listeners today will have a lot of things that they can bring home. So let's start. I hope all the panelists are okay. Can we start?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. There's a lot of statistics going on. We see numbers of deaths, numbers of cases, all are growing. Yeah? And internationally, there are currently more than 3 million cases, and then more than 200,000 deaths. And the International Labour Organization has also given estimation that more than 81% of workers globally are being affected by this Corona-19 pandemic. And in Malaysia, the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research has estimated that unemployment could reach up to 2.4 million of Malaysian workers itself. So it sounds devastating, but I just want to invite our first panelist, Zalina. Maybe you can share with us how serious do you perceive the situation? Can it go worse, or did we underestimate the risk? Please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Very good afternoon to all. Okay. Basically, this pandemic COVID-19 is actually unprecedented. we have, as risk practitioners, we have always talked about the black swan, to always identify what will be the risk and identify what are the uncertainties that could happen. But never in everyone's mind that they could imagine that they have experienced pandemic before, but not similar to COVID-19. The worst was Spanish flu, but that was 100 years ago. So people forget how bad it was. So in the past, like H1N1 and the rest of the other pandemic, is not as bad as this. But this is the black swan that all of us has been keep on preaching to all organizations. When you do identification of risk, to identify the black swan and always take the worst case scenario. So COVID-19 is one of the worst, unprecedented, and this is what we have been always talk about on WUCA. I mean, there's a lot of conferences in the past couple of years. They have been debating and discussing about the era of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and also ambiguity. So this is it. So, but whether they expect it to be this worse, actually, a lot of us are actually unprepared. In that sense, and whether this is the worst to come, actually this is not. This is actually the tip of the iceberg, because you know why? As you said, unemployment rate can go up to 4 million, but a lot of companies have experienced will be experiencing a great impact on their business. No matter how big the organization is, because now you can see that a lot of organizations have started setting up committees to look at business recovery and resiliency. How are they going to be to be resilient post COVID-19? So that's my view. If you ask me whether this is the worst is yet to come.
Oh, thanks, Zalina. That sounds alarming. Not only to businesses but also to us as individual, right? Sounds like many of us are really underestimating the risk. Yeah? But the irony is that to get the economy recover, we have to shut down the economy. That's what most economists are doing at the moment. Yeah? How being a consultant, so I would like to hear from all the panelists. Yeah, being a consultant, how do you actually are coping with the current situations? You yourself dealing with the businesses. Can I invite Baizura first?
Okay, thank you, Puan Arpah. If you ask me, basically, like us as a consultant, of course it will be impact, especially when we need to conduct training, things like that, you know. So me and Zalina, we have this problem where we can't meet up with people. There's not many people want to have a gathering. We can't do that anymore. So we are thinking of having online training, webinar, things like that. So that will be the first thing that all of us need to do. Because kalau kita nak pergi, we can't do that. There will be restrictions here and there. So from consulting point of view, of course, more people, opportunity will be more people once risk management and BCM program. They are looking into that now. But the disadvantage is that when we are not allowed to meet up with people, there will be challenges in training people. That will be our challenging.
I guess. Thank you, Baizura. I guess that's the first thing that came to our mind. Yeah, we can give more, but we cannot give more. Right? Yeah. What about you, Tunku Nafishah?
From my perspective, I am in two main areas, which is public relations and also a language center. I run an English language center. And for both businesses, I am really badly hit because we can't meet the clients. But for public relations, it's not so bad because we can still issue press releases. But of course, what kind of press releases can we issue? We're not supposed to talk about mega launches and stuff like that. So there are things that we can companies or rather businesses can actually launch. For me, the most challenging thing is because I won't be able to do training. But of course, it is a 360 degrees change. It's a mindset change that we now have to take everything digital.
Right. I like when you see there is a mindset and there's a need of a mindset change. Zalina, can you pick up on that?
Yeah, basically post-COVID, in fact, preparing for post-COVID, there must be a shift in mindset because all of us must realize that everything will change and everything must change. Because you cannot expect when you go back after 1.5 or 2 months of quarantine that everything will be back to normal, because that's where a lot of people have said that it's going to be a new normal. So what do you mean by new normal is that everything the way that we do things will have to change. We have to change the way we work. As simple as people will realize that the readiness of working from home is actually very limited. So it was the aspiration of the country for Malaysia to be the hub for the era of digitalization by 2020. But I think a lot of things has happened, but we were not able to achieve that. And because of that failure, we were not able to get areas even such as even Rawang to be networked, more so for those in the rural areas. So when you talk about working from home, there's always limitation. And that's the reason why in terms of businesses we are impacted, because even though we would like to do training online, but the readiness of the client, because they don't even have laptops as the tools to do that, and maybe the connectivity is quite poor. So all these are restrictions for working from home. But again, with that in mind, this pandemic has in a way gravitated all of us to embrace this era of digitalization, because we were talking about industrialization number 4, and when I talk about industrialization 4.0, this is what it is all about. That means it's less of physical, it's all about interacting via virtual. But we have been ignoring that, and we still are practicing industrialization number 2, in fact, most of us. Whether we want to or because of the limitation surrounding us. So, and because of a lot of people now will realize, including the government agencies and organizations will now refocus and realign their focus, instead of having more capex or budget on infrastructure, physical infrastructure, but a lot will be more geared towards network infrastructure building. For example, now you don't have to use any Zoom. You should have a ready in-house system for conference call, which is more secure. So that's for me.
That's good observation, Zalina. We are now actually being forced to embrace digitalization, which is in a way is a good thing. It's an opportunity as well, right? Yeah. I myself are getting used to seeing people in these small boxes. So I guess everyone is going to get used to it now. So we can see that the pandemic has posed us a huge threat and a huge challenges to businesses, and the processes may take longer than what we expect. Yeah? So talking about resilience of businesses, how can we be more prepared? Yeah? Can I call Zalina to talk us through? Can I call Tunku Nafishah? Maybe you talk a bit more on how does your role in PR, yeah? How does PR can play a role during this challenging time?
Right, thank you. It's not just my role, but it is the role of public relations, so in short, it's called PR. It is in fact very, very important right now, especially now, because there are many things that needs to be addressed. For example, the first thing that any company would want to do is to address communications to the employees, so which means that's internal communication. Well, of course, the HR division and HR heads would have done that, but it is also part of the PR. And most of the communication will have to come from the top, which means from the CEO himself or herself, yeah, so that the employees would know what are the actions taken by the company to ensure their safety. For example, we talk about work from home. I've never worked from home before. Well, I've worked from Starbucks or from Yunas cafe downstairs, but I've never done that. So companies should be giving us the opportunity to do that. And it should also touch about the company's concerns on the employment, because I'm sure there are many employees who are thinking of would they still have a job? Would there be salary cut? So the company themselves will have to share certain things with the employees. And of course, the company should also share a little bit of way forward, what should be done. And what's important is that how an employer communicates with the employees during this time can actually have a serious impact on the employees' comfort and probably interest level. So there is a need to make the employees feel safe and secure. And also why internal communication is important is that we don't want to be in a situation where the employees found out about the company's direction from the media and not from internal. So that is very, very key. So that's the main point. Second thing, we have to relook at the company's communication plan. When you talk about communication plan, of course, it differs from one company to another. Normally, it would include internal and external communications. External communications would be the other stakeholders like their customers, ministries, regulators, and all that. And it would also include reputation management plan, crisis, where it involves BCM and risk management, because communication and the other two areas are all interconnected. Yeah, so these are some of the things that companies will have to look at in their communication plan, and what they need to do is to adapt to the current situation accordingly. Like I've mentioned just now, it is very challenging to change certain things. Like it or not, life has to go on. We have to revisit, review, and re-strategize. And in the absence of a communication plan, then the company has to develop one now. Well, in PR is all about storytelling. Telling a story cannot stop, but you must choose what you can tell and what you cannot tell.
That's a very good strategy to share with our business community. Yeah? Of course, having a good knowledge about the company is give comforts to the employees. Yeah? And we have to make sure that everyone feels safe. And employees is a huge asset to the company. That's very important. I believe that the risk communication is also part of the whole risk management program of the company. Maybe Zalina can expand it further and talk about what's the role of risk management now.
Okay. Again, when we talk about business resiliency in the BCM framework, business continuity management framework states that in order to manage a crisis efficiently and effectively to maintain the resiliency of the company or organization, all these three things need to work in concert, which we always use the word in concert. And this is the best situation whereby you need to ensure that your risk management is in place, of course, to prevent. But in managing the crisis, you must ensure that you when a crisis happens, what you do in terms of responding, your emergency response plan must be in place. And how do you communicate to manage the situation is through your crisis communication plan. And again, how do you continue your business through your business continuity plan? So as consultants, I will see that, again, not taking advantage of the situation, but it will make it easier for us to convince upon our clients the importance of developing an effective and meaningful plans. Because in the past, even though we have been in our training, we keep on mentioning that when you develop a strategy or mitigation, yes, when we talk about even a risk mitigation, it must be meaningful. So when you and a lot of companies, when they identify risks, yes, they identify some of them are the black swans and the uncertainty, but they will normally they will not actually really come up with a mitigation plan that's really effective. It's just for the sake of having a mitigation plan. But risk will still remain as high because even though you have planned a long list of mitigation plan, but if it's not being carried out or if it's not effective, how do you measure the effectiveness? A lot of organizations do not measure the effectiveness of their risk mitigation plans. They will have a long list, but okay, I've done this and I'm going to do this to ensure that the risk from catastrophic or major will be minimized to an acceptable level. But a lot of organizations do not even check the effectiveness or even the implementation plan, whether it's really being implemented within time and whether is everybody is committed to on the mitigation plans. So this is a good test whether whatever that you have identified and if it has you have come up with a mitigation plan saying that if you're working from home, is that the risk is that staff do not have the tools, and of course they will have a mitigation plan to say that staff will be equipped with all the necessary tools. But whether it's really done. So I was blessed in a company where I worked before in Malaysia Airport. We have done this capital replacement of desktop with laptops about 8 years ago, because we foresee that going towards this era of industrialization number 4, everybody need to carry a laptop. So to do away with desktop, but not all organization has done that, because we find that most of our clients, we are not able to do that because they don't have that basic tools of laptop. So again, when it is good for us as consultants. It's now easier for us to convince them to say that when you have identified the risk, most important is to mitigate them and whether to ensure that it is effective to really mitigate the risk. So that's for me.
Okay, thank you, Zalina. So it's a real test to all businesses. Yeah? Some businesses may probably already have a good risk management program. Some may already have a very good business continuity management program. So Baizura, can you tell more about business continuity? How does it play a role?
Okay, if you ask me currently, most of the organization, they do not have any BCM for pandemic perspective, So for those who doesn't have it, probably they can look into what they need to do. They cannot start now. What they need to do now is just to study on what they can do to protect their people. That's what they can do. But they need to evaluate. For those who have BCM already, they need to re-evaluate which particular critical business functions that they really, really need for them to make sure that the businesses is okay, Then another thing, they need to also look into the re-entry activities, re-entry recovery activities. If, let's say, the government going to open up or lift up the MCO next week, things like that, how many people that you need to allow to actually come back to the office? Because we must remember the virus is still there. Yeah, it's just not like I told Zalina. It's just not like a lizard. You saw the lizard, you can kill that. You can't. The virus is still there, So we wouldn't want our people to be infected. Like I discussed with Zalina, I don't think we need to send our people to conduct training if the situation is still like this, So for top management, they need to reevaluate, look into which particular critical business that really, really critical for them to keep on the business going. And for those who they think that can stay at home, stay at home. Then like what Zalina was saying just now, reinvention is very, very critical now, because I live in the village, in Banting here. I can see new things coming in. All this what I never saw this panda delivery people here, but now every moment I can see panda people coming here because they send food. Okay, you can see now the images of all these things, like the cloud kitchen. People don't actually cook at home. They have the cloud kitchen and they start to send deliveries to all these restaurants like that. You can see new things, And then, for example, the company like the car manufacturer or the car dealer, they actually do booking online nowadays. They don't actually ask people to come to the office to do online. And banking, for example, they have to strengthen their SST, self-service terminal, and ATM, and online system. And these are the things that everybody have to work together to make sure they strengthen all these things now, because people cannot go out. And if you realize the share for Amazon increased because people like to go to do shopping online. I like to do shopping online because I can get through. And tell you the truth, my son do online selling because anything in the house that she asked me whether I want it or not, I said no. So he do selling. So these are the things people want to see, So there's a lot of opportunity if you ask me. Make good, yeah. There's so many opportunity that you can see if you are opportunist. So look into all this area, list out the things, and move forward towards this. Yeah, thank you.
Actually, just to add, Dr. Arpah, to what Baizura said, because with this pandemic that you are experiencing, organization will now realize what are actually their most critical business function. Because you will know that you will realize that certain function you may not need, and you can still function even during MCO. Yeah. Because these are what the feedback from my friends in a large organization. They say that now I think I don't need that that small unit because actually it doesn't function at all during MCO. So again, to echo what Baizura said, it is now timely for you to review and restock again, rethink which one is of all your all your function, which is the most critical business function that you need to maintain, and which are this function that need to go back to back to work. Because even though MCO is lifted, as what is mentioned, we cannot expect that everyone should go back because we still have to flatten the curve. And because we have not won the battle, as what the PM have always said, we have not won the battle. We are still in war, and that war will last about the next 8 to 12 months. So that's how long, as long as the we don't get the what they call it, the vaccine for this virus, and as long as the vaccine is not available, it is still going to spread. So, and what we are afraid is the second wave or the pandemic, and it's going to be worse. And you see that China is starting to experience the second wave, and some other countries. So we have to be careful when MCO is lifted. We cannot say that we have done with our BCM, whatever flaws we will ignore it. We cannot ignore. We have lesson learned from the first phase of this MCO. You got to strengthen your business continuity because it's going to be further extended, and you have to be prepared on during the second phase. If you are not prepared this phase, but you must be prepared during the second phase. Thank you.
Thank you, Zalina. You make me a bit worried. What if I am in the critical function and I'm in the function that's no longer needed and my boss doesn't need me anymore? Anyway, let's look at the positive side. Businesses has to be efficient and effective, and it's a good forcing things to do now to relook and everything. And when you say that to relook on how you do businesses, even the innovation is important now. People have to think differently and how to strategize within their own business expertise. I would like to invite Tunku Nafishah, related to what we are talking just now. Business has to be resilient. Business also has to ensure survival, and the audience, the customer that we have are also important. And from your own perspective, how do you think businesses can stay relevant? Can stay relevant to
Okay. Did I get your question right? How business stay relevant, right?
Yeah.
Using PR. Okay. If businesses stay relevant to its target audience using PR as a mode of communication, first thing we need to do is we have to think critically how to tell our stories. Well, certain things may have to temporarily stop. For example, the issuance of non-essential media releases on launches, like I mentioned just now, unless it is relevant to your customer. It may not be an appropriate time to launch a product or a service right now. However, if you can address the needs of your audience right now, it is a good fit. For example, I have a client where it is a local company. They are called Pro Office Solutions. They just launched a new service. It is a remote working service and a health tracking web application. For example, in the morning, the boss can say, how are you, blah, 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 and all that to show that the company cares for you. And of course, after that, I'm going to track you because employees are now working from the watchful eyes of their employers. So tracking their productivity is very, very essential. Like, do we know who do we report to? Because our bosses are not online all the time. Are we supposed to be in front of the computer like 8 hours a day? We don't do that now. Yeah. So how do we work from home? How do the bosses know that we are actually working and we're doing our assignments? Does that mean that when we complete our assignments, we're actually doing it? So this service, which is really apt to be launched right now, is in the market, is especially developed for the SMEs. And for example, if you're a currency exchange provider, you know their branches are closed. Foreigners are not able to walk to the branches to change currency or to even remit money. Some of them don't even have a current account. Let alone to do all those things. So what the clients can do right now is to use an app, to have an app where you can change currencies and also to do remittance online. You can even buy, for example, medicines online. You can do a lot of things online. So this kind of new services, or rather it has been in the market, but it is relevant to launch those services now. You can talk about it. So that is when you can actually have, say, for example, media interviews. Well, gone were the days when media interviews were done via Skype and all that. Those were meant for people who are super duper busy or for those people who are overseas. But now we are doing it. In fact, now we are doing it. We are Skyping, where we call it Skyping with one another. So what we do for our customers, we even Skype with some of the media. The work still goes on. We still get our money. We still get paid. So that's how business has to stay relevant. If you look at training providers, instead of doing it physical, they are now doing it online. but obviously they are not able to charge like how they used to charge before. It is probably cheaper because there are many training providers who are providing services free. I'm not sure whether I like saying that, but there are many of those. Even Harvard University are providing online courses, you know. So how do we then compete? So I guess, kita kena sabar. We have to take one step at a time, and it has to be very, very structured. So if we want to stay relevant, let's look at what's going on out there and how we can come up with a solution that is a good fit for our customers. Of course, in terms of our own cash flow, it may not be as good as it used to be, but I believe, as I've spoken to the two consultants, that we'll do it slowly but surely. But it's going to be very, very slow. Yeah. I think what's important is things get done. That's what we want. There are many ways of doing things, even though it was not done that way, but it can be done this way. So, I think if you look at all of us, we are not the type who just stay still and don't do anything, stay home and look ugly and, clean the house and all that. We can do everything now. We can work, we can clean the house, we can do everything. So, yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Tunku Nafishah. Good view there. Yes, everything slows down, but I guess it's good to slow down. We can, start to appreciate everything that is around us. Yeah? Sometimes we walk and we have not even seen people next to us. Yeah, walking so fast. Okay. So we have been it has been more than 30 days in the lockdown. Maybe you can share with the audience now. Could things be done differently? Perhaps is there anything best practices that you have observed in the market, or could other things be done differently to reduce the impact to businesses? So Zalina, can I invite you first?
Okay. Basically, when you talk about risk, it's not just about the negative side, and this is actually timely for us, for everyone to explore the opportunities of the risk of pandemic. So some businesses may cease to be relevant, but some businesses will increase in terms of relevancy and importance. So that's the reason why going back is going back to the new normal. Relook at the business plan. A lot of organizations need to rethink what is actually their priorities in terms, because budget and money will be scarce, resources. Of course, there's abundance of manpower, but the thing is whether the job opportunity. So the shift from more of human to more of automation and the use of technology. And of course, there is a need for companies to seriously think of developing their own in-house conference call meetings, which is more secure, so that you don't have to rely on public system. But that can also be an opportunity, because if you develop one which is good, you can even sell it. So it's time that you have to explore what are the opportunities which the future needs. The future is actually now. So you talk about again 4.0. So how can we use technology to boost our business, to shift our business plan on and to be more relevant and to remain resilient. So I guess best practices is that I think in the past companies, I think those that are hit like aviation, automotive, tourism, that would be companies that need to look at what are the different the other option of revenue stream that they can obtain to remain resilient. Maybe they can look at the way they sell their products should be more of online, and how they can enhance the demonstration of the car facilities, or the good parts, or how you market the car should be made virtual instead of just physical inspection, because that may not be possible, but you still want to sell your car, for example. So those are the things, because you have to explore all these various avenues or new way of doing things. Something for all of us to explore and to experience actually. So that's what I think. But again, now focus on the opportunities rather than just focusing on the negative side of the pandemic of COVID-19. Because we have to move on, and I always believe that there's always new things for us to do. It's just a matter of for us to explore, because the brain of human is actually unlimited. But it's because we are being mandated. We are used to doing things and always in the comfort zone. We do not want to explore new things. So again, all this pandemic will sort of push us or gravitate us to think harder on how to survive and make to practice new ways. So that's my thoughts. It's just that don't stop thinking and don't stop exploring. So I leave it. I pass it back to Dr. Arpah. Arpah dah frozen. So maybe Fish, you want to continue?
If you're talking about PR in this, it all depends on the management's decision, because the board and the management will have to make a decision. Then that will turn into actionable programs where public relations or advertising can do it. But I think now is also time to work on back burner projects. That means projects that you have left behind and you have not looked into. You have your to-do list, for example. You put it on hold for a long time. So, for example, update your brand messaging, or upload pertinent contents that keep you and your brand top of mind. You can do this on your company's website, on your portal, or you can rewrite your company's boilerplate. You look back at your corporate profile and all that, or create new FB postings on tips, do's and don'ts about staying home, about how to take care of your children, create hashtags and all that. And if you can create a video, make it more interesting. So these are the things that you can actually do during this time. Relook at things that you never had a chance to do. And also look at how the company can actually help. CSR, for example, it can create a positive impact on society as well as business. So outward, how to help the community. Of course, include your employees, include your customers. Probably these people have been affected in a way, directly or indirectly, by the virus. So help can be in the form of resources, direct donations, and probably in-kind support. So those are the things that we can do during this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tunku Nafishah. The voice, we have to apologize that the voice a bit disturbing now. I guess, can you hear me?
I think Arpah, you are your signal is a bit tak stable.
You're breaking up.
You're breaking up, Dr. Arpah. Okay, maybe Baizura, you add in?
Yeah, can I add in? Yeah, I add in from I echo what Zalina and also Tunku Nafishah was saying. It's true that nowadays, I guess we must be more disciplined in our life, less traveling. That is good actually, because if not, we have to travel 1 or 2 hours in the traffic jam. But with MCO, I think we can start thinking of doing other things. We can, start early at home and then go to your gym in the house, or you do something like clean the house, thing like that, and you can start cooking, do something that you like. So don't be depressed. Most importantly is to increase your wellness and also your make sure that your antibody is very, very strong. That is very, very important. And when people say how to do it, of course, positive thinkers, one of the things, and then make sure that you have good rest. Good rest meaning that good sleep. Like me, I can sleep 8 hours deeply. I'm good at that. And then make sure you eat good food and healthy exercise. I keep on saying healthy exercise because there are people who actually exercise vigorously and they don't stop. They never stop exercising because they think a lot of exercise is good. Actually, it's not. You must exercise gradually. That's very important for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Baizura. This is good advice. Good advice from everyone. I wanted to ask what is your advice. So you have given already the advices without me asking. So that is good. But Zalina, when you say that the automotive has to rethink, but as a customer, I don't think I want to buy a car without a test drive. I would like to
that's the thing. I think. Again, as what you said, Dr. Arpah, we would never think that we would be conducting meetings this way. But when we are forced to do it, we have to do it. So again, looking at that perspective, for example, automotive, they have to make sure that their videos on the features of the cars must be really, effective to convince you. So because you lack that physical inspection, But that must be then since that is being compromised, they must then make it up in terms of a very effective video. So for us customer, maybe in the future we must get used to that we may not be able to go for test drive. But again, we must also again reprioritize our needs. Do we really need so many cars? Because the e-hailing business is on the rise. Soka business is also on the rise. So this thing has been shared with me by my boss, Encik Ali Jantan. She said that when he attended this Harvard Management School, in the future, and this is becoming a reality, that the world do not really need a lot of capital expenditure. You don't need big, large power plants because that's going to be substituted by solar from the sun.
Solar,
Yes, you don't need big infrastructure because in the future you don't need big, nice offices because in the end you are going to work from home. So the background of my house is actually more important, and so you don't need fancy offices, big offices with large, with sofa and all those things because whether that's really necessary because companies maybe need to shift their priorities in the future because whether you need that limited budget to spend on infrastructure of office or infrastructure of your system, because you need more to build a secure system where you can have a very stable conference call and which is more secured. So again, and us user need to get used to this. As you said, we have to get used to looking at this box rather than the physical touch and the physical face-to-face. Because we are, of course, a bit skeptical when we wanted to conduct a training via, virtual training, but that's something that we have to do, and we have to convince ourselves, in fact, that it has to be effective by making it more, interesting. And how do you use templates? Because now we cannot do templates, so we have to then replace that with videos, with instructions. So everything needs to change. As I mentioned earlier, everything will change when you go back. It's not business as usual. And everything must change to be for you to adapt to this new world, the new order of the world.
Right, I have to agree with you on that, Zalina. We have it's already 45 minutes. Yeah. I guess I want to pick up one last questions from Tunku Nafishah. Even before that, when you said that you have to update your website and everything, that's very true as well. Yeah. I never have my profile page picture, yeah. So this time I did it, yeah. So you just sometimes you put away little things, but the little things are important, yeah. So that's a good remark you make there. And for the last, can I ask you from PR perspective, what do you think Malaysia has done right?
Okay, as you know, the country has actually given birth to a new hero, our very own health Director General, Datuk Sri Dr. Nafishah Abdullah. He has been the focus of the media and Malaysia and the rakyat, and us Malaysians. When we talk about media, it's not just the local media, but the international media. Why is he the focus? Because every day, Dr. Nafishah will appear on television at 5 p.m. Yeah, we shut off from work at 5 p.m. for a short while to watch him with the much awaited COVID-19 updates and other related news. And what he reports are facts and not hearsay nor rumors. We do not want to hear that. If you look at some leaders from other countries, I'm sure you know who I'm speaking about, talks about something that is not validated, that is not substantiated by facts and evidence. Because when it comes to facts on this kind of topic, it has to be someone who is credible, someone who has got the knowledge, like Datuk Sri. Yeah, and when he speaks, we Malaysians, we feel safe. I'm sure you feel the same way too, and we want to feel that we are in good hands. I'm sure you have read the news that China Global TV Network, they've actually crowned Dr. Nafishah as one of the top 3 doctors in the world. Yeah, for 2 things: for his straightforward and calm approach. Those 2 are very, very important in handling the outbreak. So Dr. Nafishah has become a trusted source of information, and like I said, because of that, we look upon him. That is one. Secondly, government and also organizations, GLCs and other corporate organizations, have been working very hard to manage and contain the virus to spread further. So they work in synergy. So these people are regulators like MKN, PDRN, and at state level and federal level. They are working in synergy. And I think what's important is the media is also playing a very important role, because they are the ones who disseminate this information to people like us. Without them, we do not know what's happening. So what we'll do, we'll be thinking, hari ni berapa orang mati ya? Oh, Dr. Come out at 5 o'clock so we will know. We have coronavirus, virus tracker and stuff like that. So giving facts which are correct and substantiated by some evidence and research and all that are very, very important. So in my view, those are the things that our country, Malaysia, has done right from the PR's perspective. And I think other organizations, we've discussed this earlier with Zalina, like for example, the veterinarians, they should be also addressing like, what about pets? Because like dogs and all that, they need to go out for a walk. And even staying in a contained area like this, we can't even take the dog for a walk. So what happens then? So those are the things that we need to know, tips and do's and don'ts. So we should continue updating rakyat about all these things.
Thank you for pointing those out. Yes, we have a hero. I'm proud to be a Malaysian. I'm sure all of us are proud to be a Malaysian. We feel safe. Yeah, we feel safe, and it's good. I believe that we are moving on the right track, and inshallah we will face all this together and successfully. Yeah? So I'm going to go to closing unless Baizura and Zalina has anything else to say.
It's okay for me. It's just that one final word. Again, God has always placed challenges upon us so that we become stronger. So always look at the positive side. Things we have to be positive about all these things, and we'll come out stronger, inshallah.
I have one more thing to say as a closing. In a nutshell, we must be able to deal with communications calmly, like how DG had done it. Progressively, and most importantly, in a very structured manner. This is actually of vital importance. Well, we do not know, it may be a long haul, but work must continue in this new normal. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Baizura, you have your last word?
Tak dengar.
Your voice.
Tak dengar.
Okay, stay positive, and then always think positively, and always think outside the box. Although we are inside the box now, think outside the box.
Thank you so much. Despite the challenges, we have to shift our thinking to the opportunities that lies ahead. We may not have a chance to turn back the time, but we have to opportunity to slow down and to rethink about how we want to shape our future. So let's take this together. Let's take this moment to fix what has been broken and really appreciate life and what we have. So I want to thank you, Mediamaju, for managing this forum. Thank you to our MC. Thank you for Jaflus Consultancy with all the bright information that we have today. So I want also to thank you, UAM Institute of Risk Management and the Academy of Risk Management Malaysia for making this forum possible. We hope to bring more experts to share their insights with all the FB community. Inshallah, we will meet again next week. Please like and share this video at FB Mediamaju live streaming so more audience can benefit from the sharing. So if you would like to be part of the panel member, just text us in the FB and we can discuss and invite you perhaps to our next forum. So lastly, thank you all to our panel members today. This brief session, I believe, has benefited the audience. And I wish everyone the best of luck and may Allah protect us all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I pass back to Encik Syafri.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm glad you are here at Mediamaju.com. So see you next week. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam.
Alright, anda sekalian, itu dia tadi live forum daripada pakar-pakar dalam bidang masing-masing. InsyaAllah kita jumpa lagi minggu depan. Assalamualaikum.